Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today is Christmas Eve 2016, and up front, we'll apologize for no show last weekend. As I'm sure a great many of you have encountered who have kids at home, or if your kids are long gone, you may remember when your kids were home. Small children are germ factories, and my son and daughter managed to get me sick to the point where I sounded more like a goose or a foghorn than myself, and it was just not going to be possible to do the show in a presentable fashion because I was going to be sitting here snorking and snotting, and it was really great because like I'd be completely totally stuffed up and unable to breathe, but then there would be like snot running. You know, it was a great head cold. Probably still sound a little off, but at least I am not tripping over myself as far as just generally being alive. So we're here. Wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Festivus, Kwanzaa, whatever you prefer to do this weekend. I got to work because postal service stops for no one, but tonight is the last night of actual double shifts for Christmas, so back to normal on Saturday. So it'll be like a day off to be back on the regular shift. We have a bunch of kid announcements to go through for February and March, and then of course there's been a plethora of stuff reissued, so you may want to go get yourself some form of adult beverage, be it alcoholic or not, and hang in there because this isn't obviously going to be a 15-minute video by any stretch of the imagination. So let's go with the kid announcements real quick first, and we can plow through these. For February 2017, Hasegawa has announced that they will be reissuing their Mitsubishi Galant VR4 rally car. A lot of people don't realize there's actually a street version of that kit as well. I happen to have one that I picked up for next to nothing because the guy didn't realize what he was selling me. But this is the rally version, and it is the 1991 Swedish Rally Championship car, or it can be built as the 8th place finisher in the 1991 Monte Carlo Rally. They're also going to be reissuing their Lancia Delta HF Integral. Now, that's not the sort of I can't think what the heck the thing's called. It's not the Super Delta because that's the Group B rally car that BMAX will be doing eventually. But there's another Delta that they've done in the past. It was reissued a whole bunch of times over the summer. I should probably just look backwards in the calendar here while I'm talking to you. And it's a separate kit in the sense of it being not the same as the other ones. However, it is also based off the same Lancia Delta tooling that all of the kits are off of, and that too has a street version. Well, back too far. I'm in 2015. Come on, where are we at here? It's been reissued so many times over the course of the summer that I've lost track of it. Yeah, maybe it has been reissued that much. At any rate, it's another rally car for them. This one will be the 1991 Thousand Lakes Rally, and again, it's just a reissue. It's a Martini livery. And then the last kit, which is not a new kit, but maybe a kit that a lot of people don't realize or remember from Hasegawa, and with a little bit of a different spin on it, it's being called the Wild Egg Girls quarter-ton 4x4. Now, what this actually is a Willys Jeep from World War II. A lot of people don't realize that Hasegawa tooled up a 1/24 scale, full details, like 147 pieces, Willys Jeep. A lot of people know the Italy version, which is not the same kit. Of course, there's the old ancient MPC tooling out there. This kit was, when it came out in 2003, so it's recent tooling, was either loved or savaged, depending. Hasegawa had planned to do an entire line of 1/24 scale military kits. They got this one out, and then they made the same thing with like a utility trailer, and that was sort of the end of it because the military builders didn't like it because it was in an odd scale, and I don't think a lot of Americans were necessarily exposed to it in 2003. The military guys were like, it's too soft in detail and blah blah blah, and the few car reviews that you can find of it were generally positive. I think a lot of the soft details, if you will, that you see comments about this kit are because it's upscaled from 1/48th rather than being, downscaled from, or, from 135th to 148th is going to be smaller. They actually had a full detail 148 scale Jeep. Then, like I said, I think they just upscaled to 124th. Be that as it may, the Wild Egg Girls thing, of course, is the Eggplant Girls, which they've done numerous kits of on the Volkswagen Type 2 panel van. Panel van. This one is going to be for the American girl, the blonde-haired girl that is on all those eggplanes. And the backstory here is that, well, she doesn't really like the winters of Japan, so she's in Australia, because obviously right now in real life, Australia is in summer, and she's driving around her quarter-ton 4x4, just enjoying herself. So if you weren't disowned for buying a bunch of semi-naked anime schoolgirls on a Volkswagen bus for Christmas, now you can be divorced for Valentine's Day with this one, because it's going to not only include, of course, all the anime stuff, but it's also going to come with a resin figure of the one Eggplant Girl. So, yeah, all right, well, I plan to order it just to get the Jeep, because this time the Jeep will probably not be molded in poop brown. It'll probably be molded in white. At least that's what it looks like based on the graphics. And not having to try to paint something that's brown, which, is not a big deal, but it's just easier to start from white and to begin with. When the kit is released, if anybody wants the resin figure, get a hold of me. Don't pile into the comments now being like, I'll take it, because frankly, 3 months from now, I won't remember who said what, and I'm too lazy to go look. But I have no interest in the figure, but I want the kit. And a bunch of stuff here in March from Fujimi. Now, anybody's been paying attention to like Fujimi announcements, they have a couple of things that are coming out in January, more than there was going to be, because a bunch of the stuff from the fall has sort of slid out into January. The Fleet Garage, the High School Fleet Garage and the High School Fleet Fiat have been delayed into January. The Toyota Velfire van has been delayed until almost February. It's like the release date is now January 31st, so we'll see what comes of that. And there were no February kits, so March they've got quite a bit of things going on here. They're going to be reissuing their Toyota S800, which is a tiny little sports car, sort of like the Nissan Fairlady 311 SR. They're going to be reissuing this in a race car version. Now, all the race car parts are actually in this kit that they reissued probably, I want to say about 2-3 years ago when they reissued this. It has an engine insert. It's not a full detail kit in the sense that like the engine's separate, but it does have an engine insert, so there is something to work with. The hood does come open and stuff like that. So they're going to be reissuing the race version of that with a famous driver that I did not write down, but it's a famous race car from Japan. And then some people may remember that the January kits are going to be mostly centered around a anime series from the 1980s called Yoshiko Mechadoc. And they're going to be adding several more kits into the plans for that. And one of them is going to be this street version of the S800, which is apparently in that. It's a famous little two-seat sports car, so it's in a lot of things, anime and manga-wise. So there's going to be that, and then the hero of the garage, Mechadoc. It was all about cars. The hero of it was Mr. Watanabe, and he has a 240Z Fairlady, and so they're going to be reissuing that in this series as well. Be interested to see if there's any extra parts or anything in either one of those two kits to sort of make them more close to the actual anime itself, because the drawings of the anime S800 have a different grille and different wheels than the actual kit itself comes with. And the same thing with the Super Z, so yeah, we'll see what comes of that. They're going to be reissuing the garage and the tools. Now, the Fleet Garage, like we talked about before, is the antique garage with the fake wood paneling and the faux wood floor. They're going to be issuing the garage, the modern day one with like the checkerboard floor and the sort of wallpapered walls, if you will. And the tool set, of course, is just the tool set. They packaged them together at one point. It's called Garage and Tools, and it's kind of hard to find that combo thing anymore. And the garage and the tools, and they've done the tool remixes and all these different things. This is just going to be strictly the garage and strictly the first set of tools, which is one of the ones that should come with a wheel lift, or at least used to in the past. Why this is sort of neat and why I've ordered one of each is because I don't have any of the garage kits. It's always one of those things where I'd like to go buy, but they're too expensive locally. With these reissues, the garage is going to run like $9, and the tools are going to run like $12. So for about $20 or so, you're going to be able to get both of them for a comparison rate. My local vendor guy that we buy all the American stuff from, his price of a garage and tools combination kit is $47. Yes, thank you very much. I'll take this one for $20. There's the tools. There's a tools 2, tools 3, and tools remix. Like tools 1 and tools 3, I believe, have a lift inside, and tools 2 is really sort of an independent set of tools because there's a lot of stuff that copies each other between 1 and 3, and then remix is a combination of all 3 sets. So it'd be interesting to see if they reissue all of the tool sets because they've created a new garage and tools like marketing set for these. So it'd be interesting to see what all comes out of that. Maybe anything new because really the tools are from the 1980s. So it'd be interesting to see if they create any new tools going forward. Reissue of the Nissan Skyline R34 25 GT Turbo. Now what this is a car that was basically one level below the GTR. They did 4 versions of this kit, and basically it's a rear-wheel drive turbo version of the R34 Skyline, but not the GTR. GTR all-wheel drive and all the rest of that goodness. They did the just a regular Skyline 25 GT, the 25 GT Turbo, the 25 GT Turbo Aero, and then there's a Nismo version of it too. This appears to just be a reissue of the 25 GT Turbo. The Nismo kit would be great to have back because it's like unobtainium. It was it was only issued once and that sort of thing. And then they're also going to be reissuing 3 1/20th scale F1 cars, which are going to be the Ferrari F2003 GA. You can build that either as the Japan, the Italian, the Monaco, or the Spain Grand Prix, and then also the Sauber C30, which can be built as the Japan, Monaco, or Brazil Grand Prix, and then the Sauber C31, which can be built as the Japan, Spain, or German Grand Prix. The C30 is from 2011, the C31 is from 2012. The 2012 car had more success than the 2011 car. At least podiumed a couple times, didn't win anything, but at least it got seconds and thirds. The C30 was a pretty miserable season for that chassis. And I guess, guys, that'll take us into actual, things that we can talk about in the sense of teases, maybe a little bit, I guess. Let me think. What do I want to start with? I guess this is not a tease. This is an actual factual thing, and I guess I don't have... As I look through my images, that's why I'm over here off camera, I don't actually have this saved, so I have to go grab the image file for it so that I can put it into the video. But over here somewhere will be a image of the Playmos interwoven wheels. These are the new wheels for the Acura NSX that Tamiya just did. We've shown you, what they look like in the past and what they look like on a real car. So that's, that option exists if you want to put some Go resin for optional wheels for the Tamiya NSX. Also, we can confirm now that for January there will be a hobby design detail upset for the NSX. Very interested to see what this is going to contain, because so far all they're showing us is like the outside image of the box. It's going to be close to $40, so it's going to include just more than some photo etch, obviously. So I'm interested to see what that's going to be all about. Hobby Design is also going to be doing a detail upset for the Hurricane that's a little more robust than obviously the factory set that comes from Aoshima directly. Several more grills and vents added to it. So I'm really interested to see what's going to be in this Honda NSX things. If they're going to try to make a mesh or metal engine cover to sort of take out that whole decal over the clear thing, because that's a very, very complex shape, and I don't think you can necessarily bend a single piece of photo etch over that. I think you'd have to have sort of a stamped die-cast metal piece, which is what Playmos thought about doing for their 918 photo etch, but the cost of it was too prohibitive. So it'd be interesting to see, like I said, what the contents of this NSX upgrade kit is. I have ordered one just simply because I refuse to build an NSX with that weird mesh decal thing if in the places I don't have to. If I have to use the engine cover, that's fine, but all the rest of the things, ixnay on the Eshme. There's this. This is the Studio 27 decal set that we talked about a few weeks ago. That is the carbon fiber sort of wrap for the NSX. This is, of course, the official decals now. What I showed you before was sort of like a little test drawing. And while we're on Studio 27 stuff, most people who follow this routinely know that Studio 27 puts out a bunch of stuff at the beginning of the month. It's going to be like their middle of the month reissues, and then they usually try to backdoor a few things in before the end of the month. And so what they've chosen to do for the end of the year here, in the end of December, is one, the Dubai Lamborghini Aventador police car. This is sort of a really oddball set of decals to be doing. They're also designed to fit the Fujimi Aventador rather than the Aoshima one. I'm not sure what's up with that necessarily. You know, I would assume that it should fit the Aoshima one too. I mean, I've not actually sat down and compared the two of them because I have one of each to see if they're actually the same size, but they should be. I mean, they're the same car. The other thing about this is that it shows the thing as being a slick top when it's not. The real car has a light bar, and it's also a slightly shorter light bar than would be normally sold because, of course, the roof on an Aventador isn't as wide as one on, say, a Taurus, Police Interceptor, or a Charger, or a Caprice, or a Tahoe, or insert police vehicle here. So trying to make the light bar correct, is going to require a little fiddling. There's never really been a good in-scale LED bar made by anyone, even the aftermarket. There were some things that could pass for it that were in the Dodge Charger police car kit that Lindbergh put out right before the collapse of J. Lloyd. But it's not going to be the right number of LED sockets because, again, the shorter bar for the skinnier roof. So I know some people, well, we'll just build it slick top. Well, then you're not really building a replica of the car. You're just building a Lamborghini Aventador police car, and you can make it whatever you want to. I mean, this is sort of the things that I guess my inner IPMS builder who, just doesn't want to do the weathering to build a tank or a plane comes out, because if you're going to building a replica of a specific car, I mean, it's not like they have a fleet of Aventadors, they have one. And so if you're building a replica of the one car, it should look like the one car. And the one car has a light bar, and it's not a slick top, so you can't make it one just because you feel like it. The other thing the Studio 27 is going to be doing here for the end of the month is the first of what is going to be, again, the proverbial avalanche of decal sets for the BMAX BMW E30 M3. This set here for the DECRA 1991 DTM season for the Unitron sponsored car is a very interesting choice. Now, obviously, Studio 27 actually in the past, this may pause the obviously for a second, Studio 27 has done the Warsteiner decals that the BMAX kit comes with in the past to fit the Fujimi BMW M3, but obviously they're not going to do those again for the BMAX kit because they come with the BMAX kit. And, if you've taken 2 seconds to look at your BMAX kit, that was a championship car from 1991, so that's all there is to it. But there were a bunch of M3s that ran. The BMW M3 was the most successful race car ever run, the Porsche 911 being a close second behind it. It ran and won in every series it was in, whether it was tarmac and gravel rallies, DTM, British touring, Japanese touring, Australian touring, Asian touring, Gia Race of Macau. It won everything that it entered. It was a dominant force in racing. This set of decals for the Unitron car represents the car, at least in the number 13. I didn't look up the number 14 because you get the numbers to build either one. The number 13 car finished 24th in the 1991 DTM standings, which is quite literally 4 from the bottom. This was literally a bottom 5 car. I'm assuming the teammate didn't do any better. I didn't really look it up because the DTM records are all in German. It'd be one of those things, if I'm going to go around building it, I'll look it up to see what races they actually finished, where, if did they come close to at least coming into the top 10, because, you don't get 4 points in DTM by winning a lot or even placing anywhere near the big top. So, once again, it's another one of these weird things where Studio 27 is doing a really also ran field, field filler type of team. It's a cool looking car, don't get me wrong. That's why the main reason I ordered the livery, because I like the livery. I don't even know who the driver is, but 24th in points. Yee. So there's that. Try to think if there's anything else aftermarket going on right now. I guess that's pretty much it. One kit announcement or kit release is coming out that we're not going to cover right away because we're going to wait for the kit to come out here in the United States, and that is the Revell of Germany. McLaren 570S is out in Europe. If you really are diligent and want to pay a fortune in shipping, because it's just the way things are anymore, you can buy one through eBay. They are on eBay out of Germany. The problem is the kit's like $26 and the shipping is like $19, so it's almost costs the kit again to ship it, and it'll be here in the United States in February. I've seen a review of it on YouTube in German, which was kind of fun. Put it to closed captioning on and try to turn the auto-translate to English on, which was reading between the lines. You could figure out what was going on, but the point of where I was going to go with this is the fact that there is a California license plate set on the German car release of this. So it will not surprise me if sometime during 2017, perhaps in the second quarter, we'll see that kit get reboxed in a U.S. box. The price difference here is really not going to be all that great, though, I don't think. I mean, the kit is being sold at Tower Hobbies for like $29, so what's it going to sell for otherwise? $21, $22, I guess. We've had this conversation in the past. You know, the show's been on YouTube now for almost 2.5 years now, so it's possible that if you're new to the channel, you've missed this conversation. But I'm willing to pay the $5 extra to get the kit in the box it's designed to come in. Even though I personally, loathe Revell of Germany boxes because there's no way to really store the kit pieces in them because they open on the end and everything just sort of spills out. You have to end up taking another, Japanese kit box, basically, as a top and a bottom if you want to store the parts in it, if you're not going to be building it all in one sort of steady, session. And but beyond that, I mean, it's designed to fit in that package. The skid plate, the bottom chassis plate of this car is pretty flat. It's got some engraved detailing and a rear splitter and stuff, but it's pretty flat. And you do not want this stuffed into a Revell USA box and being warped like pretty much every single Revell US box of a exotic Revell of Germany Ferrari and Porsche 918 ended up being. So I will pay the extra couple of dollars to not have a smashed chassis pan, a smashed body, or whatever. The McLaren is, by the way, molded in orange. We thought it was going to be, but it is now for sure that way. And I guess that takes us to actual kit reissues that we can show you pictures of and talk about here. Pretty much by the time we get done with this, everything in December has come out except one NPC car. Motorcycle kit that has not come out yet. It may still before the end of the month, and one Aoshima reissue, but everything else is out. So, starting over at Revell. Now, we talked about this before. Revell's kit release for this month was the Cadillac Custom Lowrider, but that technically was released last month in November. The full shipment, I guess, is out now. But the two kits that were going to be released from Revell that are resales of Revell of Germany kits this month are the 1/16 scale BMW Isetta. I really hope that they see fit to some point in time, downsize this to 124 scale. There's only been one 124 scale Isetta ever done, and that was by Gunzisano. That kit comes like boxed with a Messerschmitt little 3-wheeled car too. Both those kits end up, being both those two kits boxed into one. Those end up selling for like $80, $100 for two little itty bitty cars. I mean, they're tiny cars in 124 scale. They're tiny cars in 1/1 scale, really. But this is an all new tooling. It's 1/16 scale, so it is a larger scale. Will it get patterned down to 1/24? I couldn't tell you. I'd really like to see it, but who knows? And then the other release from Revell of Germany for this month is the big 1/8 scale 1965 Corvette. If you've seen one before, you'd know what's in it. There's nothing new about this. And the last time I think it was reissued by Revell of Germany. Know that there's a huge buy-in price on these kits. These used to be like $50, $60 kits back in the day, and now this kit is going to run you $130 without shipping. So if you can find it locally for that price, I'd jump on it. I don't think this is really going to be one of those kits that, we'll just wait and the price will come down. It might come down a little bit, but there's really not a chance that you're going to get this for the older day $50 price tag. It's what it is. Even the original, or not original, but the last Revell of Germany reissue of this on eBay. Hasn't budged price-wise. It's still in the $130 to $150 range. So this new reissue is not going to do anything to fix that price because it is that price. So buyer beware on that. Moving over to round 2, there were several reissues at round 2 this week. On the NPC side of things, the one kit that has come out this week is the 1A scale Rupp Roadster mini bike. Normally we don't talk about the motorcycle stuff that much, but I wanted to cover this mainly because when I was a kid and my dad was sort of vaguely into models. He was him and his brother were really into models when they were teenagers and young adults. And then my dad sort of just got out of the hobby and never really got back into it. My uncle turned into a Lionel train enthusiast. He has more trains than probably Lionel does at this point, and he has just a massive collection. He ended up building a house down in Maryland that was effectively a container for his train layout. He figured out how big he needed his basement to be to build the train layout that he wanted to always have, and then he built a house on top of it. And I think a lot of us would love to be able to do that with even with our model shops, of just being able to design a shop with benches and the spray booth and everything, and then build a house around our storage. So he managed to actually pull that one off. But this Rupp Roadster was one of the first kits I remember my dad sort of fiddling around with. So it's kind of interesting to see this come back. It's some memories there. My dad was, like I said, was never like into we built model kits and all that sort of thing. He just sort of like nudged me into, hey, this is a cool thing I used to do when I was a kid. Maybe you'd enjoy it. And and I just took off with it from there. Also, and I guess everything else is AMT at that point. So from AMT this week, we got the Tyrone Malone Papa Truck finally come back out here for the Tyrone Malone Super Boss. This is the hauler truck for that. They gave you new tires here that are going to be pad printed with the Bandag logos, but otherwise the kit itself is a straight reissue of the existing kit. What's really funny about this is when I was going on eBay trying to find box art for this kit, there's an original one with a Matchbox Lesney boxing in it that some guy wants $100 for. This kit's like $37, $40, somewhere in there. So I don't know if this guy doesn't realize the kit's being reissued or he just simply doesn't care. Because frankly, the box is shot and the kit contents are not bagged, which makes it not an original kit in my book as far as being worth that kind of original kit money. Yeah, a lot of people... Round 2 is slowly but surely destroying a lot of people's kit values. And so this is kind of fun to see. I'll probably pick one of these up. I really want to see what the ramp system looks like to see if it could be double as a car hauler before I commit to it. But more than likely I'll grab it because I really have no desire to build the Super Boss and have the whole setup that way. Also from AMT this week is the 1969, I guess, no, 68, excuse me, Chevrolet El Camino Derby Champion kit. This is a reissue of the 1990s tooling 1968 El Camino with the original 1960s little 5-piece little toy soapbox derby car. And I say toy because it really is a toy. It's not a model kit of its own. It's 5 pieces. It's pretty much a solid little chunk of plastic. Very nostalgic for a certain group of people, I realize. The one sort of benefit of this kit, because of course this kit's been around for a number of reissues since it was originally done by AMT Erdl in the 90s, is that round 2 seems to have fixed the sink marks in the C-pillars, which we discussed in the past is a giant pain in the ass because of the fact, of course, that the kit itself comes with a vinyl top, and trying to fix the sink marks in the textured vinyl top was very problematic, and I know a lot of people just simply never built their kits because of it. Be forewarned, this kit does come with torque thrust mag wheels. They're the ones that were tooled up for the 69 Barracuda reissue that was done a little while ago. The kit, the thing to be forewarned about is the box says, build it stock or custom. Well, the only parts of this kit that are not factory stock 68 El Camino are those recently retooled torque thrust wheels. That's it, just the wheels. And I realized that probably in the most extraneous, wound out version of custom, new wheels is custom, but that's it. The box art is very much after the 1969 kit, the original Derby Champions kit, which had a whole bunch of parts, had those AMT Erdl, or not AMT Erdl, but the AMT Troy, Michigan Day custom parts, the custom front end and custom engine parts and all that stuff. The only thing that's custom, wheels. So if you see that and you're like, oh yay, and then you take it home and it's factory stock with a set of wheels and you're pissed off, well, you just weren't paying attention to the little rant I just did. Also from AMT this week, the 1977 Chevrolet Monza 2+2. This is an original Art Series kit. Or as of right now, I do not know of any plans to reissue it in a smaller box. So if you want one, you're going to have to pony up for the print suitable for framing box. This can be built as a factory stock version and the custom version. They say they've restored parts. They didn't say what parts, but I'm going to guess it's the factory stock parts. Because the kit has been reissued in this weird custom, I don't know, sort of looks a little bit like a 1980s Camaro front end to me, which is funny because it's 1977, but know that you can't, even despite the fact that it's in the custom format on the box, know that you can build it factory stock. And the last AMT kit that has come out this week is the Streetle Beetle. This is that weird little shrunken Beetle with the 1940s front end and the woody sides. It was an Auto World exclusive. They're only running 500 of. So that kit is out. Rides the Meyer Manx Dune Buggy chassis, so it's not really a Beetle. You can't take it and put it on a Beetle chassis. It'll be too short. But, be that as it may, that kit is out for all the nostalgia hounds, if you will. That'll take us overseas. And before we go into Japan, let's make a quick stop in Europe. Two kits that we have talked about in the past have been released. One is from the Italeri. This is the new Mercedes Actros Gigaspace. We talked about this, it's a brand new tool, Class 8, in Europe. I'm not sure how they designate their trucks, but a tractor trailer here in the United States is a Class 8 vehicle. This is a new over-the-road Mercedes-Benz truck, all new tooling, and it has a whole bunch of sliding molds and a whole bunch of just really state-of-the-art tooling done to it. I've seen the test shots. They looked outstanding. It'll be really interesting to see what this kit builds up like, because it's 250 plus parts. But that kit is out there and available through European vendors. I don't know necessarily that anybody here in the United States has it yet, but they should have it after the first of the year. And another European kit that was talked about back in February at the Nuremberg Toy Fair and has finally broken cover is the ICM Model T Firetruck. They're saying a 1914 Firetruck. What this actually is the touring car with the back it's not a rumble seat, but the back deck taken off and a chemical tank mounted in its place. There's a ladder and some fire equipment. This is actually a replica of a piece of fire apparatus from Pennsylvania. I believe it's out in central Pennsylvania by Harrisburg someplace, but it legitimately is modeled after a real piece of fire apparatus that the fire company still owns to this day. Obviously, it's a parade piece at this point. But this is sort of like a quick response kind of truck, a chemical pumper, a quick ladder for, knocking down a fire, doing a rescue if possible, before your horse-drawn steam, powered pumper would show up, that kind of sort of thing. So, like I said, it's not really a truck. It's more of a car, but it's still a neat piece of subject matter. I don't know that I would actually go buy one. This would be a kit that if Squadron were to fire sale it for $12 the way they did the Opel Admirals, I'd pick it up for $12, $13. I don't necessarily know that I want to pay $40 for it, but there are so few Model Ts and so few really, really classic cars that this, I know, will probably tickle a great deal of fancies out there. And the ICM stuff has been really good kits as of yet. So if you're interested in one, I would recommend it within the sense of I don't have any of the Model Ts, but I've seen them and they look good to me. So that'll take us over to Japan, and we have pretty much everybody spewing stuff out other than Tamiya. Over at Fujimi, they did 2 reissues this month. One of them is the Toyota Truno AE86 Apex GT 2-door. This is a kit that I know pretty much everybody I know who builds, Japanese cars, JDM cars, would love to have Aoshima tool this kit because they obviously already have an AE86 chassis. They already have an engine insert for it. This car was imported here in the two-door format, imported here as the Corolla SR5, but the Fujimi kit is really, really substandard. The body is not at all accurate compared to the Aoshima one. It's on an old motorized chassis. It's every bad thing about a motorized kit you can want and desire. However, it's the only one there is, so you kind of are stuck with it. The other reissue from Fujimi this week is the Nissan Skyline R32 GTR Group A race car. This would cover your Gia Races of Macau type of thing, as well as your Japan Group A racing. As you can see here, there's no liveries included with it. There are, however, still a number of Studio 27 liveries that were designed for the Tamiya kit, but should fit this, because, right, they should be the same size. Available in the active catalog. SK Decal is going to be doing a bunch of decals that represent the Calsonic cars from 1990 through 1992, as well as the other ones we were showing you the other day for the Jackie Chan Regal Cinemas car, the Reebok Castrol car, and also the Watson's car. So if you want to do, some fresh decals for the R32, those will be coming as well. It's a curbside kit. It's not full detail the way Tamiya's is, but it is a more recent tooling from, I think the 2000s is when this originally was tooled up. So it is not motorized toy. It is a full detail curbside in the sense that it's got separate suspension components, separate struts, separate brakes, separate exhaust, and things like that. Some stuff molded into the chassis, but not a lot. And the interior builds an interior bucket, and it's a real model kit as opposed to being a motorized toy that they turn into a model kit. That will transition us over to Aoshima. Oh, no, excuse me. Hang on, before we go into Aoshima, because there's a bunch of stuff. Hasegawa, brand new tool kit. This is very interesting in the sense of being a, sort of a historic Japanese car that's not really all that old, and that is the Suzuki Jimny JA11. This represents the 1995 Suzuki Jimny. This is, like I said, brand new tool. We talked about the gimmick of this kit where you could articulate the suspension if you wanted to make it look like it was, going over some terrain. I know when I said that, people were like, it's a very capable off-roader. Yes, I realized that the Jimny, and which, we got here as a Suzuki Sidekick and whatnot, was a very competent off-road vehicle. However, this is, a factory stock on-road vehicle. You can actually pose the kit up or down or any combination of it. All four corners are individually selectable as far as whether or not you want to make them sort of raised up or, lowered. And it's not lowered like slammed, but it is lower probably than factory ride height. Again, mainly to articulate the suspension rather than like, oh, hey, let's drop the suspension on this thing. It comes, of course, with two sets of wheels, the spare tire carrier that's just the wheel, the spare tire with a cover, because you can build a sort of just a baseline car or a slightly up trim car. There are some parts in there that you're not going to use because there will be further versions of this in the future. And again, it's for people who build, again, this is classic in the sense that this is the year I graduated high school, and I'm not comfortable with calling myself classic as of yet. It is a classic Japanese vehicle in the overall sense of things, and so it's cool to have that being out there. Now we're over to Aoshima, and let's cover one reissue real quick here, sort of get that out of the way, and that is the Toyota Racing Development A86 Truno N2 spec. This is sort of based after the Nuremberg 2 spec, if you will. All the over fenders and stuff like that are add-ons in this kit. This kit does not come with the engine insert that the initial D-Series kits come with, so it is a straight-up curbside. While we're talking about things that run on smaller wheels, we, of course, have the 14-inch wheel and tire combination sets that were coming out this month, and they are the Hayashi wheels, the Star Shark wheels, the Longchamp XR4s, a good standard. Those are many sizes from both Fujimi and Aoshima. Everybody should know what an XR4 Longchamp looks like. And the Yayoi wheels. All of these wheels do come with a giant sort of gumball-shaped tire, so you do get that whole big stretch wall look that the box art shows you. I didn't want to, didn't want to tell you it was going to come with that until I saw the parts, and I've seen the parts, and yes, it does come with a big gumball stretch wall tire. So that's, you can get that look that they're showing you on the box art. Aoshima has had a bad habit in the past of showing you things on the box art that aren't in these wheel sets. The 4-lug, 5-lug wheels from last month were an example of that. But these ones pretty much are what you see. Some kits with new parts in them would be the Valine VIP Crown Royal Saloon, and also the Valine VIP Touring Crown Athlete. Now, both of these kits ride the same sort of old set of 20-inch BBS LM wheels, 2-piece wheels, so you can always paint the centers whatever color you need to, and the outside will still be chrome, so that's always a cool, nice touch to those wheels. What are new about these kits are the front bumper, the side skirts, and the rear bumper, and then there are new fog light inserts, little clear pieces. It's really kind of nice of Aoshima to have tooled it this way, because if you look at those front bumpers, there are sort of like LED lights on the very, very edge of the bumpers, and they could have very much, just taken the bumpers that are in the kits and given you little teeny pieces to try to glue on them. The back bumpers have sort of diffusers and things like that, and been like, hey, here's some pieces, glue that on there, have a good luck with that, and you might be laughing to yourself going, oh, that's a good one, but that's the way a lot of VIP car kits were back in the day. I mean, they were sort of tacked on stuff. It's very reminiscent of the way, the 1970s and 1980s, everything had fender flares and IMSA, racing flavors. A lot of the VIP stuff was just some stuff that was added to the kit. And these two, in this case, like I said, the front bumper, front fascias are new. The rear fascia, the rear bumper is new, and the side skirts, well, the side skirts do tack on, but they're brand new tooling as well. So there are, like I said, some new tooling there. On the pre-painted side of things, you've got the red metallic and the phantom black pearl versions of the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution Final Edition. Remember, Aoshima pre-paints are completely pre-painted. Not only is the body painted, but everything is painted. The interior, the black on the window glass, the chassis, everything. Everything is already painted for you, so it really is just a matter of assembling it. And then let me look through here real quick, make sure we've got nothing else before we go on to, of course, the big tools. The big 2 new tool supercars that we've been looking forward to for quite a while now. And they are, of course, the Pagani Warrior. This is just, we were talking about this the other day. Me and my friend Nick were discussing this kit when it came out because, of course, Hobby Search, which we reference at the end of the videos and where we take a lot of these photos, for the Japanese kit reissues from, they put the instruction manuals online, and I think my reaction to looking at the instruction manual for this kit was that I shit my pants and started crying at the same time. He said it looked like a skill level 27 kit. Basically, we came to the conclusion that it looks like you're basically trying to reassemble a saucer around a rocket ship engine. And, because everything opens on this kit. The doors open, the engine cover opens, what would be the hood opens. It's just a lot of pieces. It's a lot of very complex shapes, a lot of very complex, building. And this could be one of those kits that makes Aoshima's day. I don't necessarily think it'll break Aoshima in the sense that, like, if it doesn't build, people will be like, well, F Aoshima. We're never going to talk to them again. I think so many people are convinced, and I've seen this on many forums, it's very discouraging for a kit that hasn't been released to the public until yesterday, actually Wednesday, was a lot of people went into this kit figuring that it wasn't going to be buildable. It wasn't going to fit. It wasn't going to be buildable. You would never get anything to the body panels will never sit flush with one another, because a lot of people base their opinions on those test shots that were done for the Tokyo Hobby Show, which were a combination of first round and second round test shots sort of combined into model kits and built up at the last minute so that there would be something to show at the show. It wasn't necessarily a very accurate representation of what the final product would be. We've talked about it before. The McLaren F1 GTR Longtail went through 7 tooling revisions before the kit came out. This kit is 3 months late at this point. And so, hopefully it goes together. What I say, boy, it could make them is if this kit really does assemble better than expectations. I'm not saying it needs to be Tamiya-like quality in that sense, but if it just assembles easily without being fiddly and without being a problem, a lot of people will take Aoshima very seriously, and they'll claw up that next rung to be, considered in the same conversation with Tamiya when it comes to, complex supercar kits. So with the Pagani kit itself, there was also the detail upset. And what I'm doing with both of these kits is showing you the actual packaging for it, and then I'm showing you the photo etch, because I really think you need to see the photo etch to appreciate these. Now, obviously, here's the packaging for it. You see there's photo etch, and there's metal transfers, and they give you 4 aluminum exhaust tips for that little, really looks like a rocket engine exhaust. Now, here's the actual photo etch itself. And you can see here, this is some exceptionally fine photo etch work. I mean, if it looks this thin in person as it does in this picture, this will be like them taking their photo etch to another level. We were jokingly saying that you don't want to sneeze on this because it might explode and you'll lose all the pieces. It's just, wow. I mean, it remains to be seen how well it fits and how well it goes together, but it is really something. It's way more finely detailed than anything they've ever done before. You see, you have those little, covers, sort of the external covers for the electric fans, because the hood opens, and those will be seen. So there's that. And then, of course, the other supercar kit that came out this week that was supposed to come out in December, and I think it shocked a lot of people that it wasn't delayed, but for anybody who knew the Aoshima supercar series and how the kits were scheduled to come out, this kit was supposed to come out in October, and then the Hurricane got shoved into production by Lamborghini, and that is the Lamborghini Diablo GT. This is the one Diablo that has never been kitted by any company, regardless of how bad the other Diablo kits are, and they are pretty awful. There are only 80 of these made in real life. This is sort of a homogenization car for the GTR race car that's going to be coming out in 2017. This kit, by comparison, looks like a snap-tight kit compared to the Pagani's instructions. The doors open, the engine cover opens. It is a full detail engine. It has a transmission and everything. The Pagani, of course, has a full detail engine with a transmission and everything. That one being an AMG built engine. The Lamborghini Diablo GT has also a detail upset, and so we'll show you here the packaging, and you get some exhaust tips with this one as well. And here is the actual photo etch and the metal transfers. And again, this is super fine, super detailed photo etch that is well above and beyond anything that Aoshima has done in the past. I'm just awestruck by this, because I think there were some indications of what the photo is going to look like for the Diablo GT, but we never saw any kind of hints of what the Pagani stuff was going to look like. And like I said, both of these are really just, aftermarket level kind of photo etch, rather than being the basic, vents and brake rotor covers that Aoshima tends to put out in their stuff. So that, guys, is really where we're going to end this week, I think. Real quick, we'll throw up these photos that Aoshima put up of the Lamborghini Aventador Super Veloce. I wish I'd wrote down the name of the builder. However, if you go on the Aoshima Facebook page, you can see the proper credit for the guy who built this. It wasn't Sasha Mueller like it tends to be. It was another builder who did a nice job, especially with all the carbon fiber work they put into it. I think that's a little misleading in the sense that this kit doesn't come with all that carbon fiber. However, it's a really nice carbon fiber job. I'm not going to knock the actual work done. It's exceptionally great carbon fiber work. I just don't think you want to build a test shot that way, because that stuff isn't coming with the kit, or if it is, that nobody has actually mentioned that. So you're going to, the Super Veloce is basically the 50th anniversary of diffusers. A new set of wheels will come with this, and then, of course, it has the great big spoiler the Super Veloce has. And this will be a January release, hopefully, and I don't know. It's another supercar, and then after that, we'll have the GTR race car, and then we'll see where the supercar series goes from there. I will say that the fine folks at Lamborghini introduced the Lamborghini Aventador S, which is the next version of the Aventador. Well, we'll see that. Be nice. Keep the Aventadors going. The Aventador platform is 6 years old now, so really within the life cycle of Lamborghini, probably won't be around too much longer. This is sort of, the Super Veloce is always sort of the last hurrah of a Lamborghini model, and it's not going to be this time, but the S might be, or somewhere around there. So hopefully we'll see that, and I can just glance through my photos here, make sure I've covered everything, and I believe I have. So everyone, I hope you have a great weekend, have a good Christmas, spend some time with your family, and we'll see you guys on the other side.